So, welcome to Digital Data Communication lecture. Today we will start fresh unit, that is unit number 2. This unit will utilize what we have learned in unit 1, some basic definitions, etc. This unit is mainly dedicated to the transmission of data. In our previous unit, we have studied the technique of modulations. Here in this unit, we will learn how to transmit the data. What are the various coding schemes available with us which can be used to transmit the data? So in today's lecture, we will mainly be discussing the various terminologies which are useful in understanding the mechanism of coding schemes. So particularly, we will discuss 4 types of data transmissions. We know the data can be of 2 types. It can be a digital data, it can be an analog data. So, we want to learn the coding scheme in which we can send a digital data on a digital signal. Let us call it as scheme number 1. In scheme number 2, we have an analog data and we want to send it in on some analog signal. Then we have a digital data, but we have an analog signal on which we want to send the data. In the end, we have analog data and, sorry, it is mistyped. We have analog data and this analog data has to be transferred using a digital signal. So in this unit, we are going to study these all 4 techniques one by one. So as far as exams are concerned, you should try to attempt 2 questions from unit 1 because it is the easiest, simplest, and there is very less material to cram or so, and there are always predictable questions from unit 1. But in unit 2 and 4, we cannot have predictable questions. So in my opinion, it is my personal opinion, personal experience, however you can choose of your own what you want to. In my opinion, the unit 2 and 4 should be avoided to attempt 2 questions. You can select 2 questions from unit 1 or unit 3. Easiest one is unit 1 to attempt 2 questions. So before we understand the digital data and digital signal type of transmission techniques, we first try to understand the various basic terminologies related to coding schemes. And what are these terminologies? First of all, we want to have a coding scheme for digital data and digital signal. So here, as written, we have a digital data which has to be transferred using a digital signal. One thing I would like to clear here, that these signals are nothing but your voltage pulses, current pulses. These voltage and current are nothing but wave equations, are represented by wave equations. We have already studied about these wave equations in Unit 1, that we can represent the modulating signal, the modulated signal, the carrier wave. They all are written in the form of wave, and they are nothing but the voltage or current variations. So whenever we talk about signals, these signals are simply the voltage or current levels, and these voltage and current levels are changing differently according to the type of signal. The sine wave will have a different type of signal, cosine wave will have different type of signal, triangular wave, rectangular wave, square wave. There are many waveforms in which a signal can be transferred. So in the very first and very easiest kind of technique, we will have some digital data and we will have some digital signal. Can anybody name a digital signal waveform? Can anybody name? What is digital? Digital means you should have a high state and you should have a low state. These high and low states should be represented by the voltage levels. So sine wave does not have that type of structure. So sine wave cannot be a waveform which can represent a digital data. Cosine wave has the similar structure to the sine wave, so it cannot do. The triangular wave is continuously increasing. So what type of wave should we should use to represent a digital data? A common sense, can you? Yes?
Rectangular wave, sir.
Yeah, it can be a rectangle we should avoid. Why we should avoid rectangle? Because the rectangle does not have equal length and breadth. So that may, although the structure will be similar to rectangle, but we want to have equal length and breadth so that we can represent the bit in equal manner, ordered manner. So Divija, you are partially right, but actually we should use the square wave. And Divija, you know, in a square wave we have equal length and equal breadth. That is, all four sides are equal. So we can represent zeros and ones using a square wave. So here to represent a digital data, we will use square wave, not sine wave, cosine wave, triangular wave, or rectangular wave. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the conversion involves three types of techniques. Number one, conversion means we want to convert, we are having a digital data. We want to convert into some coding scheme, and that coding scheme requires three types of technique. The first one is the line coding, second one is the block coding, and third one is scrambling. So here in our syllabus, we will mainly be using the line coding for the coding schemes and block coding for detecting the error. Why we use block coding for detection of the error, not line coding? We will answer it when we will discuss the topic of error detection and error correction. Line coding is always required. Block coding and scrambling may or may not be required. Now, what actually is line coding? Line coding is a process of converting our digital data into a digital signal. Here, each bit will be represented by some voltage level, a low level or a high level, or reverse also. It depends upon the scheme. Generally, we write a low state by 0, a high state by 1. However, we can use reverse cases also, reverse polarity also exist. So we assume that data is nothing but a form of a text. It may be some number, it may be some graphical image, it may be an audio, it may be a video, etc. So all these are data and they are stored in the form of bits. So line coding tries to convert these sequence or series of the bits into voltage or current signals or voltage or current levels. So at the sender, digital data are encoded, and in which form they are encoded? All the zeros and one stream are encoded in square wave pulses, high pulses or low pulses. So when the data is sent, data must be received somewhere. So receiver will receive the data, and what he will or she will do with the data? The digital data is again decoded in the form of original message, that is digital signal. So how this process occurs, let us try to understand with the help of a diagram. Here we have a bit stream running from left to right. Let us call it as a digital data. The stream is 0101 and so on 101. So we should have some conversion mechanism at the transmitting end, which will convert this digital data into some signal. So you can say this digital data has been converted into A. A means analog signal here. D means digital data. So this encoder will code the information in the form of voltage or current pulses. And these pulses are analog and they are square type of wave, not the rectangular type of wave. Why not rectangular? We have already discussed. We want, can anybody explain why the rectangular wave is not preferred, whereas square wave is preferred? Yes, Rohit? Can anybody answer this? Why we prefer a square wave than a rectangular wave? Actually, you see, in a rectangle, you will not have equal width or equal length. It means, let us talk it like this. You want to represent 0 by one level and 1 by another level in a rectangle. So in a rectangle, if width is large, then the bit stream 0 and 1 should take equal time to travel. If width is large, then one bit will take more time to be traveled by the voltage signal than the other. Then what will be the possible error in the signal? The possible error will be the synchronization error. The synchronization will not be possible if we use a rectangular wave also due to its larger width. So that's why we prefer a square wave in the digital to digital data communication. However, we can use different wave, but that is a different story. We will talk about them in the coming lectures. But for the moment, we are using a square wave. So once this encoder codes the information which was digital earlier into analog. Now this analog information is in the form of voltage pulses. Each voltage pulse level will decide the bit. Now here one more thing we have to understand. Let me say it like this in the more simple manner. Every low or high level in a square wave are represented by single bit, more than one bit, or even less than a bit. Now, question is how less than a bit can be traveled on a single signal? Bit is a complete bit. So there are some schemes which may use 2 levels, 3 levels to represent a bit. There are also some schemes which use 1 level for 1 bit. There are also some schemes which may use 1 level for more than 1 bit. We will learn this in the coming slides. So after this curve is sent to the receiver, at receiving end we have again a electronic circuitry which is called as decoder. This will again decode the voltage pulses into their corresponding bits. So in this way we can have a digital data sent and digital data received via a medium which utilize the digital signal. For digital signal, square pulses, square waves are used. Each voltage level is capable of representing A, 1 bit, B, more than 1 bit, C, less than a bit. So this is how line coding scheme works. Now some basic characteristics related to digital data and digital signal. Let us define the signal element and the data element. So a data element is the smallest entity that can be represented as a piecewise information. And this piecewise information is nothing but a bit. Digital signal is the voltage level or voltage pulse which will carry this bit. So here you can see R is equal to 1, R is equal to half, R is equal to 2. So we define this quantity R as a quantity which will tell us how many number of bits are being carried by a single voltage level. If R is equal to 1, then one pulse will carry one signal. One pulse or one signal will carry one bit. If R is equal to half, then one voltage level will have half of the bit. That is, we require at least 2 levels of voltage, low or high, to transfer one complete bit. Then we have R is equal to 2, that is, on one voltage level, we can send 2 bits. So, signal element is nothing but a series of voltage pulses. Data element is simply a series of zeros and ones or a sequence of zeros and ones. So, these data elements are transferred on these signal elements. This transfer may be R is equal to half, R is equal to 1, R is equal to 2, or even R is equal to 4 also possible. Now let us try to understand this analogy with the help of a very beautiful picture diagram which represents all the possible cases. When R is equal to 1, that is, 1 bit is carried by one level. Here 0 is represented by upper level, 1 is represented by a lower voltage level. So in the first coding scheme, when the ratio of signal element to the data element is equal to 1, then one voltage level is capable of carrying single bit. When R is equal to half, it means a half bit will be carried by a voltage level. So a complete bit will be transferred by using two voltage levels. So in the pictorial diagram, you can see we are representing it in a circle. So this first bit is a 1, which is carried by a low voltage signal written as 1 here and a high voltage signal as 2. So when R is equal to half, signal to data element ratio is half, then two voltage levels are required to carry the information. Similarly, for 0 as well as for 1. When R is equal to 2, it means the two bits can be transferred using one single level. So here you can see 1 is transferred on high level, 1 is again transferred on one single high level, and combination of 0 1 or 1 0 will be transferred using a low level. When R is equal to 4 by 3, it means there are 4 signals or 4 bits to be transferred, and they can be sent using the 3 signals: signal 1, signal 2, signal 3. So this